As Quinn saw Peter's body hit the ground, a certain reality hit him. He had seen people die before, but this was the first time that someone he knew personally had died. "Peter!" he shouted. "When did he get over there?" Layla asked after hearing Quinn shout. "He must have started moving towards Quinn as soon as he saw the Dalki," Vorden said. The Dalki looked at Peter on the floor. "That's quite noble of you. It's a shame, though, since you will all be dying with him." "I'll kill you!" Quinn shouted, "even if it means killing myself." Quinn rapidly fired out multiple blood sprays. "Hey, it seems to be working!" Layla shouted out. "I'll kill you!" Quinn shouted, "and once I'm done with you, I'll suck out your blood until you're nothing but a walking skeleton." He continued to shout out words of abuse, but he wasn't sure what he was saying. Fortunately, a nice surprise came to him amidst his combat. Blood spray has leveled up. Blood spray is now level 2. As it hit the Dalki this time, its wound seemed to be opening up as more green blood was leaking out of it than before. Now that the two of them were a distance away, the group ran up to Peter to check on him. Surprisingly, even though he had such a big wound, he was still breathing. Layla cried out, "He'll bleed to death like this. It might be best if we kill him here," Vorden said all of a sudden. The two girls looked at Vorden with expressions of shock. "Look at him, he's in pain. He's been bleeding for the last 2 minutes, and at most he only has another 3 before he's completely gone. It'll be more peaceful to get rid of him now." But the group didn't have time to decide, for they were distracted by something else. When they looked over, they saw Quinn kneeling on one knee, while the Dalki was still standing, but green blood was oozing from the multiple wounds on his body. Quinn hadn't paid much attention to it, but he had unfortunately ran out of stamina. With the increase of firepower in the blood spray, it also took up more energy to use it. He looked at the Dalki that was still standing, unbelieving that it was still alive after it had received so much damage. The Dalki soon started walking over, while Quinn looked at it directly in the eyes. Daze. Daze skill ineffective. And just like that, the last thing he could do had been tossed out the window. "Damn it! If Peter can go forward, then at least I can as well," Vorden shouted all of a sudden as he charged in with what little power he had left. But all of a sudden, a large metallic object went flying right by Vorden's head, landing directly between Quinn and the Dalki. "You kids get back! Get out of here now! That's an order!" It was a mech. The mechs had humongous strength, and were equivalent to that of the Dalki they were currently facing. "Come, Quinn!" Vorden yelled, putting Peter on top of his shoulder. "Let's get out of here!" And with that, the two of them went over to where the others were by Peter's side. Right now, his face was much paler than before, and not to mention, his eyelids were drooping as well. Quinn knelt by his side and looked him in the eyes. "I'm sorry, Peter. You saved me." "If you wish to save him, you must act quickly," the system said. "I can save him? But these wounds are impossible to heal with no healer around." "That is indeed the case, but if he was no longer human, and a supply of blood from each of you, he would be able to overcome this fatal wound. Would you like to activate the blood ritual?" The system had given him an option at the most crucial time, whether to make Peter into a blooded one or not. Surely becoming a vampire was better than dying, right? "I'll do it," Quinn said. "Quinn, what's up with your eyes?" Layla asked. Quinn didn't know it himself, but as soon as he had accepted to activate the skill of his blood ritual, his eyes started to glow. Right after, he started to follow the instructions one by one. Please proceed by inserting the host's blood into the mouth of the target. Then, using one of the tips of Layla's arrow, he inflicted a cut on his hand, creating a brand new wound. He held his hand just above Peter's mouth, who was now barely breathing, and allowed for the blood to drip in. Peter's eyes then opened wide, and now he had red rings around his eyes. "Quinn, this isn't enough. The transformation has only just begun, but he now needs the blood of the others to live," the system shouted. "Guys, please, I need you all to do the same," Quinn asked. Just then, Peter's body started shaking uncontrollably. Quinn quickly grabbed both of his hands. "Someone hold his mouth open," Quinn shouted. Vorden quickly moved to the top of Peter's head and held his mouth open wide. The others did as instructed, and each one squeezed out the blood from the previous wound they had made before, reopening them. Finally, a result. The wound around Peter's stomach started to heal as his cells slowly patched them together. It was at a speed unseen unless one was using a healing ability. "What magic is this?" Aaron said out loud. Peter started to struggle less and less until he eventually calmed down and his eyes were finally closed. "Is he still alive?" Layla asked. At that moment, Quinn received another message. The ritual was a success. The human has successfully been blooded 1/2. A vampire ghoul has been created. A new family has been created. What would you like to name your family? Now that you have turned someone, he falls under your ranks. He has your blood, so he is part of your family. Every vampire that turns someone has the responsibility to look after their family, the system explained. Right now, Quinn could only think of one thing. Although he had gotten stronger thanks to the ability, he now relied on one thing: blood. Without it, he didn't know how he would survive. Family name the Cursed. This was how Quinn felt at this moment in time. Just then, a loud crash was heard. As the group turned their head, they could see a Dalki on top of one of the mechs, ripping off one of its arms. Well, well, looks like we lucked out and it's only a single spike. A voice was heard from behind the group of students, and when they turned to look, they could see Leo standing there. But right now, he had a light set of black and red beast gear on, and his chest had the design of a Japanese demon, an Oni with horns. There will be no need to call the others, or use my soul weapon for something like this. At the second military base inside one of the schools, another meeting was taking place. There's been a report of a Dalki ship crash landing on the planet Kaladi, Nathan reported. The tower made communications with the Dalki, and of course, they said it was a member who had gone rogue. Before Nathan could even finish his sentence, Leo stood up from his seat and bowed down in front of Nathan. Please allow me to go. Those students are too young to experience something like this, especially on their first outing. They must be protected. As long as the Dalki had no more than 3 spikes, then Nathan was confident in him. Faye, Haley, I want 2 of you on standby just outside the portal for their return. If any backup is needed, then you go straight through. Haley, heal anyone who needs immediate medical attention. It seems like Dell's class is having it tough this year, Haley said. I couldn't agree more. It's almost as if bad luck has been following them around wherever they go, Faye replied. Leo was eventually ready, unhesitatingly entering the portal soon after. The shelter had responded to the emergency response and had closed all shelter gates. 2 mechs had been sent out to look for the Dalki, with both of them arriving at the crash site. But once the mechs had discovered their location, they were able to tell Leo exactly where they were. Men, fall back, Leo shouted. The 2 guys in the mechs did as ordered. Another one, the Dalki said as he saw Leo walking towards him with his hand on his sheath. The Dalki looked like he was heavily injured, but that didn't fool Leo. Using his ability, he could see the strong aura emanating from him. Why did you fight us? Leo asked. In response to his question, the Dalki ignored him and went in for a strike. Leo responded to his actions by pivoting forward and using a quick draw, pulling out the katana from its sheath and putting it back in an instant. The Dalki felt nothing, as his arm had been cleanly sliced off. There was no resistance like everything else before had. It was as if the sword was able to ignore all attributes.
You!
The Dalki pointed with his other hand.
I know who you are. The others had warned me about you.
Unfortunately for him, before he could finish talking, its head had also been cleanly cut off. Was this the only one? Leo asked. For a moment, the students had forgotten to speak as they were too amazed at what they had just seen. Yes, that's the only one we saw, Layla replied. The 2 mechs soon ran forward and went down on their knees. Thank you for protecting us, Sergeant Leo. Don't thank me, Leo replied. Thankfully, the Dalki was already on its last legs. You 2 must have done a good job in injuring the Dalki before I got here. The 2 soldiers looked at each other in response. They hadn't even managed to land a hit, even once. Nearly all of the wounds that were on the Dalki were on it before they had even gotten there. It couldn't have been the students, could it? They simultaneously thought. In contrast, Quinn's attention was focused on something else. His eyes were fixated on the Dalki's hand that was not too far away from them. He started walking over, and Vorden soon noticed what he was looking at as well. Inspect.
Dalki, a half-human, half-beast race.
Half-human, half-beast? Quinn looked at it with a confused expression. Aren't the Dalki aliens? Inspect.
Dalki blood. Consuming the blood will have unknown effects on the host.
System, do you know what the Dalki blood will do? Quinn asked.
No,
the system replied bluntly. But I will tell you this. If it did harm to your body, the system would warn you. Should I? Quinn thought. The system said it wouldn't hurt me, right? Well, here it goes. As the blood touched his tongue, a mint sensation entered his body.
Level 1 Dalki blood has been consumed. A 10% increase in all stats. will last 1 hour.
The tingling feeling Quinn felt through his body was hard to describe, and the buff that he got from obtaining it was amazing. Quinn looked at the arm again and thought if there was any way of him taking it back with him. Unfortunately, it seemed like non-living matter was unable to enter the dimensional space. But by that time, Leo and the other two were already done with checking out the dead Dalki body. These two will escort you back to the school. Make sure that all your injuries are dealt with. As the others walked off with the soldiers, Leo grabbed onto Quinn's wrist. It looks like you stayed true to your word and you protected them, Leo said. I guess you are on our side after all. But as Leo looked past Quinn, he noticed Peter, and he looked slightly different and had a slight tint of purple to his aura, similar to Quinn. I'm still keeping my eye on you two, Leo said, but for now, go rest. Just then, as the group continued to carry Peter on their shoulders, it seemed like he was starting to wake up. As he opened his eyes, Vorden and Layla slowly allowed him to stand on his own 2 feet. What happened? He asked. I think you should talk to Quinn once we have the time and this is all over, Vorden replied. Anyway, how are you feeling? Layla asked. I'm feeling good, Peter replied. Better than usual, actually, although I am a bit hungry. Somewhere in an unknown place in a large room, there was a large rectangle table that stretched out far and wide. On the table, there were a total of 13 seats, and each one had a person sitting in them, all apart from one. It was a mixture of men and women, and they all looked all sorts of ages. But they all had one thing in common as they sat in their seats, and that was their red-colored eyes. Behind each of the seats was a single purple-colored flame, just behind them attached to the wall, and behind the empty seat, there was one that had been lit up as well. A single man sat at the head of the table and started the conversation. As you can see, the flame has been lit above the 10th chair. Does that mean he's back? But I thought he had died. No, I believe he managed to somehow find someone before he left this world, and they have officially bloodied their first, creating a new family. But why now? It's been 100 years. I don't know, but what I do know is we must find this new family and bring them in as soon as possible. Make sure they uphold our laws, and if not, we shall get rid of them all.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.